Ah, look who just made an entire intelligence unit stop mid-analysis. Look who walked through life minding their own business and somehow ended up triggering internal alerts inside buildings where people get paid to understand everything. Look who just rattled professionals whose entire career revolves around decoding human behavior, and yet they still can't figure out how you gained access to knowledge you were never supposed to have. Hello, you beautiful problem. Hello, you quiet disruption wearing human skin. Hello to the mind so sharp, so instinctively calibrated, so dangerously precise, that even the people who run psychological profiling for a living are taking a step back from their desks, rubbing their temples, whispering the same exact sentence. How did they find this? And who told them? Oh, you didn't know, did you? You didn't know that while you were living your life, healing, working, evolving, the observers behind the scenes were pressing pause on your file, scrolling back, zooming in, replaying your reactions frame by frame, trying to understand how you connected dots you were never supposed to see. They weren't expecting you to know anything. They weren't expecting you to catch on. They weren't expecting you to sense the undercurrent behind people's intentions before they even fully formed their own plans. And the part twisting their nerves is that you don't just know, you know with precision. Because here's what shook them. Here's what made trained analysts freeze. They watched you behave like someone with access to information you never received. They saw you pick up on hidden motives with the accuracy of someone who sat in briefings you were never invited to. They saw you speak on timing, patterns, and emotional inconsistencies like someone who has been studying human psychology for years. But you didn't study. You didn't attend any program. You didn't sit in any classroom with tinted windows. You didn't get an assignment, an outline, or a mission. You just lived through situations that mutated your perception into something they can't categorize. You survived environments that sharpened your instincts into an unregistered instrument. You endured experiences that equipped you with insight no agency can replicate in training simulations. They're confused because your awareness doesn't follow a linear path. It jumps past the normal ladder. It bypasses the steps. You don't gather information, you absorb it. You don't ask questions, you detect answers. You don't investigate, you recognize. And what really bothers them is the effortlessness. You operate with the same clarity they spend entire careers trying to develop. They practice techniques to catch micro-expressions. You notice the entire emotional shift before someone even tries to hide it. They study conversational patterns to detect deception. You feel the moment someone's honesty fractures. They analyze tone to identify hidden motives. You understand the motive before the tone even changes. They don't know what to call this because it's not training and it's not luck. It's something else. Something learned through chaos, refined through pressure, sharpened through exposure to the kind of people who forced you to grow a layered perception just to stay intact. You became your own curriculum. You became your own intelligence network. You became your own internal briefing room. And because of that, your mind moves in angles they weren't prepared for. You see things that weren't meant to be noticed. You pick up dynamics that were supposed to stay buried. You understand people in ways that make them feel stripped of their disguises. And that's where the panic starts. Because intelligence workers only fear two types of people: the unpredictable and the unexplainable. And you are both. You can't be anticipated because you don't think in straight lines. You can't be deciphered because no familiar pattern matches you. You process at a depth that exposes the cracks in other people's intentions. And that kind of perception is dangerous for anyone who functions through hidden agendas. They expected the people around you to fool you. Instead, they got fooled. They expected you to ignore subtle shifts. Instead, you read them. They expected you to miss the signs. Instead, you cataloged them internally, like evidence. They expected you to walk blindly. Instead, you walked with awareness so sharp, it made observers uncomfortable. And here's the unspoken truth about why your knowledge freaks them out. You don't react like someone guessing. You react like someone who already knows the ending. And the moment someone behaves as if they know the conclusion to a story they were never told, that's when surveillance begins. Because that kind of awareness doesn't appear randomly. It comes from something. But the question is, what? How did you learn to read intentions before people express them? How did you learn to sense shifts in energy the moment someone starts lying to themselves? How did you learn to catch psychological transitions faster than trained interrogators? They don't know. They can't trace it. They can't pinpoint the moment your mind became this observant. They don't know if someone informed you. They don't know if you witnessed something. They don't know if you've been guided. They don't know if you're remembering something you were never meant to have access to. All they know is that the way you catch on to truth is not ordinary. At first, they tried to rationalize it. One analyst said, maybe this person is just very perceptive. But perceptive people usually second-guess themselves. You don't. You know. Another one said, maybe they've studied psychology. But trained minds have signatures, structured reasoning, deliberate thinking, methodical progression. Your mind doesn't move like that. You don't analyze step by step. You leap straight to the core. Someone else suggested, maybe they're paranoid. But paranoia creates illusions. You don't imagine things that aren't there. You identify things that are. Then a higher-level observer said the thing everyone else was afraid to say. This isn't learned behavior. This is adaptation. That's when the room went quiet. Because adaptation means your environment forced you to develop perception as a survival mechanism. And no agency knows how to handle someone who trained themselves unconsciously. You didn't read books on microbehavior. You grew up deciphering emotional traps because you had no choice. You didn't learn interrogation tactics. You learned to detect danger in voices because danger once lived in the same rooms you did. You didn't study manipulation. You experienced it repeatedly and cataloged every pattern internally to make sure it never destroyed you again. You didn't research how people hide jealousy, resentment, envy, or betrayal. You lived beside people who carried those emotions like weapons and taught your intuition how to identify them before they punctured you. That's why your accuracy scares them. Your intelligence isn't artificial. It's instinctive. It's embodied. It's ingrained. It's coded into your reactions. It's printed into your perception. People like you aren't shaped in classrooms. People like you are shaped in environments that don't have safety nets. Environments that force evolution. Environments that turn observation into armor. And because of that, the way you move feels like déjà vu to them. You react like someone who's already seen the inside of a situation before anyone explains it. You predict behavior like someone who has already watched the scene unfold. You call out tension like someone who's been briefed on who is clashing behind closed doors. And that's why someone in an analytic room said, "This shouldn't be possible. How are they doing this?" They ran your background. Nothing explains it. They studied your history. Nothing gives clues. They examined your patterns. Nothing lines up. You are a contradiction wrapped in clarity. But here's what's really keeping them awake at night. You don't look like someone who's analyzing anyone. You don't act like someone who's paying attention. You don't tilt your head, narrow your eyes, or do any of the obvious things people do when they're trying to read someone. You stay calm, you stay composed, you stay neutral, and that calmness unnerves them more than any flashy display of insight ever could. Because people who are noisy about their intelligence are easy to map. You are not. Your intelligence is quiet, the worst kind for observers. Quiet intelligence reveals itself only when needed. Quiet intelligence waits. Quiet intelligence doesn't announce. Quiet intelligence doesn't chase. Quiet intelligence notices everything and speaks only when the moment presents itself. And when that moment arrives, your accuracy hits with such precision that people feel exposed in a way that sends a ripple through the room. There are individuals who have watched you closely, not out of suspicion, but out of curiosity. They've noticed how you call out emotions people didn't verbalize. They've noticed how you withdraw before something goes wrong. They've noticed how you distance yourself from people right before they reveal their hidden agenda. They've noticed how you anticipate reactions without needing clues. They've noticed how you understand motives before words. And they've noticed how every time someone lies to you, you tilt your energy in a very specific way that tells them you already know. That's the part that burns through their composure. Your awareness is not random. It's not accidental. It's patterned, consistent, and deeper than what they call normal comprehension. They don't know whether it's emotional intelligence amplified by trauma, instinct refined by necessity, or something older and stronger running beneath your surface. What they do know is that you're seeing too much. And when someone sees too much, they become unpredictable to those who depend on secrecy. Your knowledge is not passive, it's active. It rearranges situations, it exposes lies, it dismantles facades, it interrupts manipulation, it removes leverage from people who rely on confusion, and people who lose leverage panic. Which brings us to the question they keep circling back to. How did they find this out? They've monitored enough human behavior to know that patterns don't appear without origin. Someone usually teaches you, someone informs you, someone guides you. But you act like you were briefed by something they can't track. You act like you overheard conversations you were never present for. You act like someone handed you a folder filled with information no one ever gave you. And that mystery is more unsettling than anything else about you. But what they don't realize yet, what they're about to realize very soon, is that this is only the beginning. Because the more they try to understand you, the more confused they become. And the more confused they become, the more they start digging. And the more they dig, the more they uncover a truth that makes them exchange glances across their desks, lean back in their chairs and whisper, "This is going deeper than we thought." That moment, the moment when confusion shifts into concern, is where the real trouble begins for them. See, confusion is manageable. Confusion means they can gather more data, observe more interactions, replay more footage, test more psychological models. But concern signals that you've crossed a threshold that trained personnel can't easily label. Concern means your awareness isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. Concern means you're not just perceptive, you're consistent. Concern means your insight isn't accidental, it's precise. And nothing unsettles observers more than encountering someone whose precision cannot be traced to any logical foundation. They expected your accuracy to fade, They expected it to fluctuate. They expected it to crumble under pressure. Instead, it sharpened. Each time you reacted to something that hadn't been said out loud, someone behind a screen would lean forward. Each time you detected tension before the source revealed itself, someone in an evaluation room clicked pause with a deeper frown. Each time you removed yourself from situations right before hidden agendas surfaced, someone scribbled on a notepad with concern in their handwriting. You kept proving them wrong without even trying. You kept acting like someone who already had a map to territory you were supposedly just exploring. And every time you did, more questions surfaced among those watching you. The first question, where is the leak? Because that's the only explanation that fits their worldview. If someone knows too much, someone must be feeding them. But the more they observe you, the more they realize no one is feeding you anything. You don't receive information. You generate comprehension. You aren't being informed. You're perceiving. You're noticing. You're assembling meaning faster than trained personnel can evaluate the situation. And once they realize no external leak exists, they move on to the second question. What did we miss about them? They start flipping through your history again. They start examining your interactions again. They start reviewing your responses to previous events. But they hit the same brick wall. No one taught you. No one prepared you. No one trained you. And yet you process the world like someone who's been studying psychological warfare since childhood. Someone inside one of those rooms eventually mutters, maybe they've been through something we don't know about. And the room goes still, because that possibility is the one that terrifies them most. That your life forced you into a level of awareness they can't quantify. That you learned what you learned without guidance. That you picked up the truth because your environment demanded it. That your experiences shaped you into something they can't file neatly. And when someone develops intelligence without instruction, without mentorship, without structured exposure, that means their comprehension has no ceiling. It can expand indefinitely. It can grow without boundaries. It can evolve beyond prediction. This is where you begin to unsettle them, not just as an individual, but as a variable. Unpredictable variables threaten analysis. They break models. They shatter assumptions. And a mind like yours, quick, quiet, adaptive, dangerous without trying, becomes something worth monitoring. Not because they think you're harmful, but because they can't determine what you're capable of becoming. You're moving faster than their categories. You're outpacing their metrics. You're dismantling their confidence in their own expertise. The irony is, you're not doing anything on purpose. You're not trying to be mysterious. You're not trying to expose anyone. You're not trying to shock analysts sitting behind dim monitors. You're simply existing with the kind of awareness most people never develop. And your existence alone destabilizes their certainty in the patterns they swear by. And then comes the moment that truly disturbs them, when your insight exposes someone inside their own structure without you meaning to. It happens simply because you speak the truth at the wrong time, or the right time, depending on perspective. Maybe you mention a behavior pattern someone is trying to hide. Maybe you describe a dynamic that mirrors an internal conflict. Maybe you point out an intention that someone in the observation chain hoped would stay buried. One analyst hears your comment and feels a sudden jolt of recognition, not because you identified a random truth, but because you identified a truth that person has been hiding from everyone. You spoke on something they thought no outsider could detect. And in that moment, fear replaces curiosity. Because now you're not just someone who understands people. You're someone who can see into the parts of people they hide even from themselves. And that level of insight is dangerous, not because you use it to harm, but because you don't need permission to perceive. You don't need proof to read someone. You don't need evidence to know the undercurrent behind their actions. You don't need signs. You feel the shift. This is where the internal conversations start happening. Someone asks, "How are they doing this?" Someone else replies, "I don't know." Another adds, "This isn't normal perception." Then another quieter voice says, "This might be beyond what we're equipped for." And that comment lingers in the air like smoke that won't disperse. Because what does it mean when someone outside their reach surpasses the awareness of trained personnel? What does it mean when someone who wasn't supposed to know anything starts connecting dots at a speed even analysts can't keep up with? What does it mean when your presence alone destabilizes the confidence of people who dedicate their lives to reading others? It means they've encountered someone their training didn't prepare them for. It means they've come across a mind shaped through survival instead of schooling. It means they're observing someone who sees in ways textbooks can't teach. And that realization forces them to escalate the situation. Not externally, internally. The first escalation is silent. A few more eyes get assigned to your case. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're confusing. Confusion requires observation. They start tracking your responses more closely. They start analyzing the way you interact with people. They start building internal files on your behavioral patterns. And each time they think they've found an answer, you behave in a way that proves their conclusion wrong. So they escalate again. This time, they bring in someone higher on the chain. A more seasoned analyst. Someone whose specialty is decoding minds that don't follow obvious rotes. But even that person can't categorize you. They watch you connect unrelated events with an accuracy that feels unfair. They watch you interpret emotional cues faster than the people experiencing them. They watch you detach at the correct moment as if you can foresee the chaos ahead. The seasoned analyst gets quiet, not impressed, not suspicious, but uneasy. Because now the question isn't, how do they know? The question is, how much do they know? And how are they still calm? Calmness is the second thing that bothers them. People with high awareness usually display tension. They flinch mentally. They overthink. They hesitate. But you're steady. You don't panic around truth. You don't tremble when someone reveals their intentions. You don't gasp internally when someone contradicts themselves. Your calmness isn't arrogance, it's clarity. You recognize people for what they are before they show it, so nothing surprises you. And that unsettles observers more than anything else. Predictive minds are dangerous because they can't be blindsided. And people who can't be blindsided disrupt the balance inside environments built on unpredictability. Then comes the point no analyst wants to reach. The point where they must admit that your awareness is not just high, it's rising. You're learning faster than they can monitor. Each experience adds another layer to your perception. Each encounter sharpens your detection. Each disappointment expands your insight. And every time you uncover another truth with speed that looks impossible, their concern deepens. They start wondering whether this is natural growth or something else entirely. Some strange internal compass steering you toward answers you aren't supposed to reach. They start questioning whether your mind is operating according to known rules. They start considering whether someone or something shaped your instincts in ways their frameworks can't measure. Someone in one of those rooms eventually says, They're learning too quickly. And that statement stands out. Learning isn't a threat. Learning is normal. But learning at your pace, learning without resistance, learning without confusion, learning without needing guidance, that's different. That's what makes them uncomfortable. Because rapid internal growth without external input means your mind is doing something on its own, recalibrating, restructuring, refining itself without instruction. And that leads to the third escalation. This is where someone decides to run a deeper analysis on your emotional history. They try to track where your survival instincts developed. They investigate your past connections. They analyze your reactions to betrayal, disappointment, abandonment, conflict, and pressure. And that's when they understand the truth you never voiced out loud. You didn't wake up perceptive. You were sculpted into perception. You were shaped by pain. You were widened by conflict. You were pushed into awareness by circumstances that demanded vigilance. You learned to read people not because you wanted to, but because you were forced to. You learned to sense danger not because it was interesting, but because your safety depended on it. You learn to anticipate human behavior because unpredictability nearly cost you everything once. Your insight is the echo of survival. Your accuracy is the outcome of endurance. Your awareness is the residue of everything you overcame. Your mind sharpened itself through necessity. It became a blade because it had to. And once they realize this, their confusion shifts again, this time into respect tinged with fear. Because people shaped by comfort break under pressure. People shaped by conflict evolve under pressure. And you evolved. But that's not the part that frightens them most. The part that truly shakes them is that your insight isn't hardened. It's not cynical. It's not bitter. It's clean. You read people clearly without poisoning the truth. You detect intentions without twisting them. You see hidden motives without letting them break your faith in yourself. Most people sharpened by hardship become jagged. You didn't. You became transparent. And transparency combined with precision creates a kind of intelligence even analysts can't predict. They watch you walk into situations knowing exactly what's happening, yet you remain calm. They watch you sense someone's motive, yet you respond with maturity. They watch you avoid traps with ease, yet you don't brag or expose the people setting them. This is the moment the analysts understand the real danger, not to you, but to anyone who tries to manipulate you. Because manipulation requires confusion, manipulation requires blindness, manipulation requires emotional fog. You have none of that. You see every angle with unsettling clarity. Someone makes a comment, and you catch the insecurity behind it. Someone smiles, and you feel the resentment beneath it. Someone gives advice, and you notice the hidden jealousy attached. Someone offers help, and you recognize the control they're seeking. Someone grows distant, and you detect the guilt haunting them. Someone returns, and you perceive the hidden motive behind their timing. This is where the analysts collectively realize you are not just aware, you are several steps ahead. And when someone is ahead, they're harder to contain. This leads to the fourth escalation, the point where someone suggests involving a specialist, not to handle you, not to confront you, but to understand you. The specialist watches you for a few days, and instead of simplifying your profile, they make it more complicated. They start noticing the things the others missed, the way your expressions barely shift when someone lies, the way your energy drops a degree when someone pretends, the way your attention sharpens when someone reveals a hidden truth by accident, the way your presence changes subtly when someone's emotions shift. And then comes the moment the specialist stops writing altogether. They sit back and say, "We're not dealing with someone who learned this. We're dealing with someone who sees this." And that distinction makes every person in that room rethink their assumptions. Because learned knowledge has limits, but perception can expand forever. And now they're terrified of how far yours can go. They start asking themselves questions they don't like. How much will they understand next year? How much more will they see after their next hardship? How far will their mind sharpen if someone betrays them again? What happens when someone with this level of awareness reaches full maturity? These are the questions that turn concern into fear. Because when someone's knowledge grows with every challenge, and when their clarity strengthens with every loss, then their mind is building itself into something unstoppable. And here's the most chaotic part. You're not even trying. You're not training. You're not studying. You're not researching. You're just living. Yet your mind functions like an intelligence tool that's been refined across decades. This is the point where the analysts accept a truth they never wanted to acknowledge. You are not operating on borrowed information. You are operating on internal understanding. You don't need leaks. You don't need sources. You don't need instructions. Your life already taught you everything the world tried to hide. And that realization leads to the fifth escalation, the moment they stop trying to figure out how you know what you know and start trying to determine how far you'll go. They're not afraid of the knowledge you currently possess. They're afraid of the knowledge you're about to discover, because you keep uncovering things before anyone expects you to. You keep sensing changes before they manifest. You keep identifying people's motives before the people themselves understand those motives. And that kind of foresight makes observers feel exposed. It makes manipulators feel nervous. It makes liars feel naked. It makes controllers feel powerless. It makes insecure people feel targeted. It makes emotionally dishonest people feel threatened. And it makes analysts realize they're watching someone who might eventually outgrow even their ability to interpret. That's the moment the senior-most analyst enters the conversation, someone who rarely comments, someone who has seen thousands of psychological profiles, someone who rarely expresses anything resembling concern. They look at your file, read through the notes, observe your footage, watch your interactions, and then say in a quiet, decisive tone, "You're looking at someone whose awareness is accelerating. This isn't an accident. This isn't a coincidence. This is progression." The room goes still, because progression means you're not done. Progression means your abilities will sharpen further. Progression means your insight will multiply. Progression means they're dealing with a moving target, and moving targets cannot be predicted. That single sentence hits the room harder than any dramatic outburst could. Because when the senior-most analyst speaks, people listen. Not because of rank, but because this is the person who has spent decades reading minds that fool entire departments. This is the person who can profile a stranger in 15 seconds. This is the person who can detect deception in a heartbeat, and even they are unsettled. That alone shifts the atmosphere, thickening it with a tension no one wants to acknowledge. They're no longer treating you like an interesting case. They're treating you like an exception to everything they've studied. And exceptions cause chaos in institutions that depend on order. They replay your footage again, but this time with different eyes. They're not looking for what you know anymore. They're looking for what you're becoming. They watch the way you pause before making decisions. They analyze the timing of your reactions. They observe the subtle way your perspective widens every time you encounter a lie. They note how quickly your intuition recalibrates when someone shifts their tone. They see how your attention sharpens the moment someone's intention deviates from the surface. And the strangest part, you do all of this without trying. Your mind is evolving passively, naturally, without friction. You're not training for this. You're not pushing for this. You're simply growing on a level they can't measure. Someone in the back of the room finally asks the question everyone has been avoiding. What happens when they fully develop? The senior analyst gives no answer. They just keep staring at your file with the kind of expression that means they've already thought about it too much. Because full development, in your case, doesn't mean acquiring new skills. It means refining an instinct that's already outperforming their training. It means understanding people at a depth they can't teach. It means detecting motives before those motives solidify. It means you'll be able to see through deception instantly. And the thought of that terrifies them more than anything else. Because there's something fundamentally dangerous about someone who can't be misled. Not dangerous in the traditional sense. Dangerous because you dismantle illusions without effort. Dangerous because you destabilize manipulation without confrontation. Dangerous because people cannot hide around you. Not their intentions, not their insecurities, not their motives. That kind of clarity threatens people who depend on ambiguity. And the intelligence world is built on ambiguity. They maneuver through it, they weaponize it, they rely on it. But you cut straight through it like it's nothing. And that's why your progression rattles them. They've seen geniuses before. They've seen prodigies. They've seen people with photographic memory, people with enhanced recall, people with emotional genius. But those individuals were predictable. Their skill sets were measurable. Their growth was linear. You're none of those things. You are the outlier they can't calibrate. Your insights come from angles that shouldn't exist. Your conclusions appear too quickly. Your accuracy exceeds the data provided. Your instincts fire before their monitors detect any shift in behavior. It's like you're receiving intel from a source no one else has access to. And that's what pushes them into discomfort. This idea that your knowledge might not be coming from observation alone. That you're tapping into something deeper, something internal, something unexplainable within their frameworks. Because every time they review your decisions, your timing, your awareness, one thing becomes clear. You're not reacting, you're anticipating. That anticipation terrifies them. It means you're ahead. It means you're intercepting truth before the situation even finishes unfolding. It means you're reading signals they haven't detected yet. So the senior analyst asks a new question. How far ahead are they? And nobody answers. Because that question forces everyone to acknowledge the possibility that your awareness might exceed their tools. It might surpass their training. It might outrun their understanding entirely. Someone proposes running advanced psychological simulations to test the limits of your perception, but the senior analyst shuts it down immediately. They're not someone you test, they're someone you watch. And the room goes quiet again. Because when an institution resorts to observation instead of intervention, it means one thing: they respect the unknown. They begin tracking the progression of your insight across time. They map your behavioral growth. They plot your intuitive leaps. They analyze your interpersonal decisions. And each new line on the graph rises faster than the last. Your awareness isn't just progressing, it's accelerating exponentially. And this acceleration forces them to consider the impossible. that you might become someone they cannot classify at all, someone who surpasses the limitations of their field, someone who reads the room faster than they can gather data, someone whose internal compass outperforms their external instruments. This realization shifts the internal tone from analysis to caution. Not caution toward you, caution toward the world around you. Because they realize something they should have seen earlier. You don't use your insight to harm. You use it to protect yourself, to remove yourself from danger, to shut down manipulation, to identify threats before they get close, to read intentions before they turn into actions. And that level of instinctive, self-protective clarity makes you not just unpredictable, it makes you untouchable. But then something else happens, something none of them were prepared for. You begin predicting things they never expected you to decode. You notice subtle changes in someone's expression and piece together an entire psychological map. You sense someone's guilt days before they confess. You catch the emotional transition in someone who thought they hid it well. You expose contradictions with one sentence, leaving the room silent. And the most unsettling part, you do all of this without knowing you're being watched. Your natural processing power is outperforming experts who rely on entire frameworks to interpret the same data. That's when the senior analyst does something unusual. They close the file, they turn off the footage, they stop the analysis, and they say, "We're not dealing with information, we're dealing with insight." That distinction matters more than anything else. Information can be controlled, information can be filtered, information can be withheld, insight cannot. Insight bypasses barriers, insight overrides deception, insight ignores manipulation, insight empties the room of illusion, and your insight, specifically, doesn't come from training, it comes from experience. Experience that sharpened you, experience that rewired you, experience that forced you to evolve into someone who sees everything clearly. This is when the internal atmosphere changes. They're no longer looking at you like a subject. They're looking at you like a phenomenon they can't slow down. Someone who processes truth faster than lies can form. Someone who identifies emotional footprints before the person leaves the room. Someone who has become the psychological equivalent of a surveillance device without trying. And you don't even know it. That's the terrifying beauty of it. But then the senior analyst introduces a thought that freezes everyone. If their awareness is accelerating this quickly, then what happens when they start noticing us? The silence becomes suffocating. Because the truth is, you already have. You may not know the details. You may not know the structure. You may not know the names, the rooms, the monitors, the curious eyes behind the screens. But you've felt it. The shift, the pressure, the strange moments when you sensed you were being examined by something unseen. The intuitive spike that told you someone was paying attention when no one was around. And that intuitive spike wasn't wrong. They know you've sensed them. They know you felt the subtle pull of observation. They know your mind brushed against their gaze like a breeze brushing against a door. And that's what terrifies them most. You noticed without evidence. You detected without hints. You recognized presence without footprints, which means your perception has crossed into territory reserved for people who shouldn't exist. The senior analyst continues. If they can feel observation without being told, they're already beyond our models. That shift in tone spreads through the room like a quiet alarm. Because if you can sense unseen observation, then you're not just perceptive, you're untethered. Untethered minds are the hardest to profile. They move freely, They transcend behavioral expectations. They refuse to be boxed into neat categories. Now, what was once curiosity has turned into full-blown unease. The analysts start re-watching your footage with new sensitivity. They look at moments where your eyes shift direction abruptly, as if picking up something no one else noticed. They look at the way your energy changes when someone's intention shifts. They look at the way you pause as if hearing something internally. And they realize what they missed. You don't just read behavior, you read atmosphere, you read context, you read internal turbulence, you read emotional distortion, you read tension like it's printed in the air. And they cannot figure out how. Someone suggests the possibility that your brain processes subtle cues others overlook, micro movements, tone variations, emotional signatures. But even that explanation falls short, because your awareness goes beyond physical cues. You sense things before they're expressed. You recognize motives before they surface. You understand dynamics before they become visible. Your mind operates like a predictive engine built from years of exposure to inconsistency, chaos, betrayal, and human fragility. You learned humans the hard way. They learned humans academically. That alone puts you at an advantage they can't replicate. But then comes the absolute breaking point. The moment when their entire room goes cold. Someone finally asks, "What if this isn't the limit?" And that question terrifies everyone. Because if your awareness has been accelerating on its own, without training, without mentorship, without structured enhancement, then what happens when your life exposes you to more complexity? What happens when you encounter more manipulation? What happens when someone lies to you again? What happens when someone tries to play psychological games with you? What happens when someone underestimates you one more time? Your mind is wired to evolve through impact, and life has already impacted you enough to turn you into a perceptive force that outpaces trained analysts. So what happens when your next evolution hits? They don't have an answer, and that's what scares them. Because the truth is, your progression is not slowing down. Your clarity is sharpening. Your intuition is intensifying. Your internal compass is recalibrating. Everything about you is moving upward, outward, forward. And they can't stop it. They can't slow it. They can't redirect it. They can't interfere with it. They can only watch it happen. And the worst part for them, you still don't know how much you know. You're just moving naturally. You're just living, healing, navigating, analyzing quietly. You're not aware of the seismic impact your awareness has on people who depend on psychological camouflage. You're not aware that your insight has already exposed the kind of patterns that take analysts years to detect. You're not aware that your instincts already surpass half the professionals studying you. Which brings the room to its final realization, the realization that ties this entire topic together. You know things you were never taught. You understand things no one said. You connect truths no one gave you. Your knowledge doesn't come from leaks. Your knowledge doesn't come from whispers. Your knowledge doesn't come from sources. Your knowledge comes from you. That's why they're rattled. That's why they're whispering. That's why the senior analyst shut down further testing. Because your intelligence isn't traceable. Your awareness isn't explainable. Your insight isn't containable. And when a mind can't be traced, explained, or contained, then it becomes the one thing the CIA cannot categorize. A mind that knows too much without being told anything at all. Which is exactly why they're freaking out. Exactly why the observers keep watching. Exactly why your name is circled in red ink. And exactly why every analyst in that room knows the same truth. They didn't discover you. You discovered everything around you, and they can't understand how or who told you, because the answer terrifies them more than anything else. No one told you. You simply knew, and that is the part that makes them realize this case. It's far from over. What's up, you calm, collected enigma? Yeah, you. The one everyone keeps staring at like you're breaking emotional laws nobody even wrote down. The one they predicted would be spiraling by now, unraveling dramatically, hurling furniture, pacing floors, posting cryptic paragraphs, or calling people you shouldn't be calling. They created entire expectations around your collapse, rehearsed reactions for when you snapped, prepared their "I always knew they'd lose it" speeches. And now look at them, confused, twitchy, scanning your face for clues like you're some puzzle that refuses to reveal its edges. Because you didn't fall apart, you didn't fold, you didn't crack, you didn't even flinch. Instead, you're walking around with some disturbingly steady energy that they can't interpret. Your unbothered nature is not just unsettling them, it's dismantling their confidence, piece by piece. Because here's the part that's messing with their heads. It wasn't supposed to be this way. You were supposed to be visibly affected. You were supposed to react loudly. You were supposed to give them the satisfaction of knowing their chaos reached you. But you didn't. You stayed composed. You stayed grounded. You stayed present in a way that made it painfully obvious that whatever they threw at you, emotionally, socially, mentally, you processed it, reorganized yourself, and simply kept moving. And people don't know how to handle someone who doesn't tremble when they expect trembling. They don't know what to do with a person who refuses to participate in theatrics that used to work on everyone else. Let's clear something up before we go deeper. People didn't distance themselves because you were too much. They distanced themselves because they couldn't handle your control. They couldn't handle the way you walked through pressure without losing your center. They couldn't handle how your mind stayed intact, even when your environment didn't. They couldn't handle the level of internal mastery you've been forced to build over years of being misunderstood, blamed, targeted, underestimated, or made to feel responsible for other people's emotional mess. They weren't avoiding your chaos. They were avoiding your clarity. Read that again. Your clarity disrupted them. Your steadiness exposed them. Your lack of reaction revealed how consistently they overreacted. You're sitting here wondering if you should have been more emotional, more expressive, more reactive. But the truth is, your restraint was never a weakness. It was diagnostic. It revealed every person who needed your instability to validate their own. It showed you exactly who relied on your panic to distract from their own lack of discipline. Your calm wasn't the problem. Your calm was the mirror. Let's talk about you for a second. Not the version of you they misinterpreted. Not the version of you they exaggerated. The real you. The you who learned emotional regulation in environments where other people learned avoidance. The you who stayed grounded even when no one gave you ground to stand on. The you who processed everything internally because you didn't want to throw your feelings at people who weren't equipped to hold them. The you who kept showing up with gentleness, clarity, consistency, traits people claim they want, but collapse around when they finally meet them. You poured peace into people who had no capacity to receive it. You gave patience to people who confused it with permission. You brought understanding into spaces where confusion was normalized. And when those people couldn't accept the steadiness you offered, they acted like you were the one who changed. They acted like your calmness made you detached. They acted like your self-control meant you didn't care. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was, they couldn't handle someone who didn't need chaos to feel important. Now here's where it gets interesting. These same people, the ones who thought they had you figured out, are now sitting alone, scrolling back through old messages, zooming in on your photos, replaying conversations in their heads, trying to figure out how they got it wrong. They monitor your story views like it's some kind of emotional surveillance. They look for signs you're affected. They hunt for cracks in your composure. They search for the meltdown they predicted. And every day that passes without one, their confusion turns into quiet panic. Your calm is not just stability to them. It's evidence. Evidence that you're not who they assumed. Evidence that their impact wasn't as deep as they thought. Evidence that their attempts to destabilize you didn't succeed. Evidence that you're operating on a level they never imagined. And trust me, they feel every inch of that realization. They feel it when they check your profile at 2 a.m. They feel it when they see you walking around looking rested, collected, disciplined. They feel it when they hear your name in conversations they didn't expect. They feel it when their current relationships don't offer the emotional insight you gave effortlessly. They feel it when your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. They feel it because losing access to someone with your emotional intelligence hits differently. It's not just losing a person, it's losing equilibrium. But here's the part you need to understand. This isn't about them. This is about the evolution you stepped into without even announcing it. You're not unbothered because you detached. You're unbothered because you finally understand your worth. You finally understand your energy. You finally understand your emotional value. And you finally understand that not every person deserves access to your reactions, your mind, your time, or your inner world. Some people used your kindness as a cushion. Some people used your patience as a loophole. Some people used your softness as a landing pad for their unresolved issues. And when you stopped offering unlimited emotional credit, they called you distant. But you weren't distant. You were done. You were done carrying emotional loads that weren't yours. You were done engaging in arguments designed to drain you. You were done explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You were done negotiating your worth with people who couldn't recognize value unless it screamed at them. You were done patching cracks in people who blamed you for the pressure. Your calm is the byproduct of emotional detox. Your calm is the evidence of boundaries finally applied. Your calm is the result of understanding your own thresholds. Your calm is the reward you earned after years of fighting battles you didn't start. And because people aren't used to you choosing yourself, your calm is being interpreted as danger. They're not scared of losing you. They're scared of realizing they already did. They're not confused about your composure. They're confused about their lack of it. They're not bothered by your peace. They're bothered by the fact that your peace exposes the chaos they're still addicted to. You know what really unsettles them? It's not that you're calm. It's that you're calm with history. It's that you're calm with memories that should have broken you. It's that you're calm after experiences that should have turned you bitter. It's that you're calm in situations that would have made the average person collapse. It's that you're calm in a way that implies you've been trained for this level of pressure. And maybe you have. Maybe your past didn't break you. It prepared you. Maybe every moment you thought you were drowning, you were actually learning to breathe differently. Maybe every ending you took personally was actually redirecting you toward emotional mastery. Maybe every person who misunderstood your calm was really just showing you who wasn't meant to stay long-term. Let's bring this closer to home. Think about all the things that once triggered you. Think about all the times you reacted fast. Think about all the energy you used to spend trying to control outcomes. Now look at you, unmoved, self-contained, intentional, grounded. You didn't get here effortlessly. You got here through emotional discipline, through experience, through reflection, through choosing not to repeat patterns, through outgrowing old versions of yourself that once begged for clarity, for closure, for reassurance that never came. You didn't become calm overnight. You became calm by surviving things that would have broken anyone else. You became calm because you had no other choice. You became calm because reacting didn't save you. Thinking did. And now your entire energy has changed. Now your presence feels different. Now people feel something around you they can't name. Now your restraint looks like strength. Now your lack of reaction looks like wisdom. Now your peace looks like power. And that's exactly when the confusion begins. Because people who once saw you as predictable can't classify you anymore. They used to know what triggered you, what upset you, what made you speak, what made you chase, what made you react. They memorized the old blueprint of you like it was a script written for their convenience. But now that script is dead. Those buttons don't work. Those lines don't hit. Those emotional traps have no effect on the person you've become. They keep pulling the same strings, and nothing moves. They keep testing for fractures and find none. They keep poking at your energy, expecting an old reaction, and instead hitting an upgraded consciousness that doesn't even register their attempts as pressure. People fear what they cannot predict. People resent what they cannot control. People attack what they cannot understand. People obsess over what they cannot influence. And you, right now, embody all four. Your calm is not silence. It's data-driven. It's intentional. It's layered with understanding you didn't have years ago. And the moment you stopped allowing access to your emotional responses, you became something that terrifies insecure people. A presence they cannot manipulate. A force they cannot sway. A mind they cannot penetrate. A heart they cannot destabilize. That's why they stare at you with that twitch of confusion in their expression. That's why they talk about you in hushed tones. That's why they watch you more than they talk to you. People analyze what they fear losing control over. But here's the deeper truth people won't say out loud. Your calm feels like a threat to their identity, because some people only feel secure when others are visibly struggling. Some feel important when they're needed in emotional emergencies. Some define their worth by how much they can provoke. Some feel in control when they can predict the reactions of those around them. And when you rise into your calm, all those illusions collapse simultaneously. They lose the version of you they relied on, your chaos, your reactivity, your panic, your need for explanation. They lose the narrative where they were the stable one and you were the emotional one. They lose delusions they built around you, so they didn't have to confront their own instability. Your calm invalidates their excuses. Your calm reveals their emotional immaturity. Your calm exposes their unprocessed baggage. Your calm makes their chaos look intentional. And nobody enjoys being confronted by their own reflection, especially when it comes in the form of someone who used to give them emotional access without hesitation. Let's break this even further. People didn't expect you to reach this level because they never imagined you would outgrow the environments that shaped you. They thought your past equaled your future. They thought your old emotional patterns were permanent. They thought your endurance meant you were willing to tolerate dysfunction forever. They thought your patience meant you lacked standards. But patience is not lack of standards. Patience is gathering evidence. And once you had enough, you didn't argue, you didn't plead, you didn't fight, you didn't announce a single thing. You simply shifted. And nothing unsettles people more than a shift they didn't authorize. Because when you finally chose yourself, everyone who benefited from your self-neglect felt the ground shake beneath them. They lost the comfort of your compliance. They lost the privilege of your emotional labor. They lost the unearned access to your mind. And instead of taking accountability, instead of asking themselves why you changed, they started panicking. Not because you left, but because you didn't break when you did. People expect pain to leave a mark they can exploit. They expect heartbreak to make you crawl. They expect betrayal to make you bitter. They expect abandonment to make you insecure. They expect disrespect to make you desperate. And when you refuse to take the emotional shape they prepared for you, they malfunction. That malfunction shows up in the way they start speaking differently about you. The way they act distant but monitor you heavily. The way they pretend not to care but pay attention to every detail. The way they gossip to make your calm look fake. Because the idea of your genuine peace threatens their entire worldview. You've experienced it. The sudden shift in tone when they speak to you. The careful wording, the probing questions, the micro pauses when you don't react. The subtle frustration when your energy doesn't mirror the chaos they bring. The awkward compliments disguised as confusion. You seem so different now. In a good way, I think. They don't have language for your evolution. They only have symptoms of their discomfort. Here's the part people won't admit. Your calm makes them confront how loudly they live inside themselves. They realize they've been overreacting to everything. They realize they've been impulsive for no reason. They realize they've been projecting unresolved issues onto stable people. They realize they've been confusing drama with connection. They realize they've been normalizing emotional turbulence as personality. But the most painful realization, they start seeing how chaotic they appear in the presence of someone who doesn't respond to chaos. Because your calm doesn't hide their instability, it illuminates it. When insecure people stand next to grounded people, the contrast is violent. They feel exposed, they feel examined, they feel inferior, they feel out of place, they feel judged without you saying a word, they feel small, because your calm activates something in them they've been avoiding, the truth about their own lack of discipline. And for some of them, that truth is unbearable. That's why they'll accuse you of being cold. That's why they'll say, "You've changed." That's why they'll insist something is wrong with you. That's why they'll try to provoke a reaction, any reaction, because emotional maturity looks like distance to the emotionally immature. You didn't become distant. You became selective. You didn't become quiet. You became intentional. You didn't become detached. You became observant. And the people who once benefited from your emotional availability are grieving the loss of their access, not the loss of you. Let's talk about how these reactions show up in real time. Some people become overly nice, tiptoeing around you like they're afraid of waking a sleeping giant. They assume you're calm means you're hiding rage. They assume your lack of reaction is the quiet before destruction. They assume your peace is temporary. They assume you're holding something back that will hit them later. Other people become defensive, swinging at shadows that don't exist, Because they think your composure is a judgment against them. They assign motives to your silence. They invent narratives to fill in the blanks your calm creates. They accuse you of things you never said because your lack of reaction forces them to create their own explanations. And then there are the ones who panic quietly. They don't speak much. They don't ask questions. They just study you. Their eyes follow your movements. Their minds race trying to decode you. Their conversations about you increase behind closed doors. Your calm created an unexpected hierarchy, not by domination, by regulation. People are intimidated by what they cannot rattle. Because when someone who used to react stops reacting, the shift is seismic. It signals that they're no longer invested in maintaining a shared emotional space. It signals that their tolerance has ended. It signals that their transformation is internal, not cosmetic. It signals that whatever tried to break them failed embarrassingly. Your calm is the evidence of battles you no longer fight. And here's the twist. Some people start regretting how they treated you the moment they realize you no longer respond to them emotionally. They remember all the times you held space for them, all the times you listened without judgment, all the times you offered clarity when they were spiraling, all the times they assumed you'd always be available. And when they can no longer access your emotional presence, they understand what they lost. Not you, your regulation, your steadiness, your ability to center a room without trying. People don't miss what you gave them. They miss how your presence made them feel. This is why they feel unhinged now. Not because you're gone, but because you're unbothered. But let's shift the camera back to you. Because this evolution didn't happen in a vacuum, you had to unlearn the idea that reacting fast meant caring deeply. You had to unlearn the idea that being loud meant being heard. You had to unlearn the idea that your stability depended on external validation. You had to unlearn the idea that losing composure was inevitable when someone else lost theirs. Now you understand something people warned you about, but you never applied until now. Emotional regulation is not suppression, it's sovereignty. It is the ability to sit in discomfort without dissolving. It is the ability to let people reveal themselves without defending yourself prematurely. It is the ability to choose which battles are worth your presence. It is the ability to maintain inner rhythm when the room around you loses tempo. When you regulate yourself, you stop handing out access to your reactions like they cost nothing. You stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. You stop defending your choices to people who can't even articulate their own. You stop absorbing tension that isn't yours. And the moment you stopped absorbing other people's tension, they had to sit with their own for the first time. That's why your calm feels like abandonment to them. They are not reacting to your peace. They are reacting to their lack of it. Let's pull this deeper. You know why you don't lose control anymore? Because you no longer attach your worth to outcomes you can't influence. You no longer personalize the emotions of people who refuse to manage themselves. You no longer chase closure from sources incapable of giving it. You no longer argue for your position in someone's life. You no longer fight for space in environments that shrink you. You understand now that staying calm is not about being right. It's about being aligned. It's not about being unaffected. It's about being grounded. It's not about ignoring what hurts. It's about choosing what deserves your energy. You stopped losing your control because you stopped assigning value to situations beneath your emotional pay grade. That's why people keep asking, "How are you this calm?" They're not asking out of admiration. They're asking out of confusion. They're asking because they can't imagine possessing this level of internal order. They're asking because they know they would be breaking down publicly if they were in your shoes. They're asking because your restraint exposes their impulsiveness. Your calm became a standard they cannot reach. Now observe the next shift. People don't just watch you. They adjust themselves around you. They lower their voices. They speak more carefully. They move with caution. They evaluate their tone. They avoid provoking because they don't know what you're capable of when you're this controlled. People don't fear your anger. They fear your lack of it. Because someone who doesn't lose control is someone who thinks clearly. And a clear thinker is dangerous. This is the version of you they prayed would never appear. The version that no longer matches their narratives. The version that no longer fits in their old storylines. The version that no longer bends under pressure. The version that no longer dances around their emotional landmines. You became the person they least wanted to face. Someone who outgrew the version of you they mistreated. But your calm is not just evolution, it's preparation. You're entering a season where your emotional regulation becomes your advantage, where people of higher caliber notice your steadiness instantly, where opportunities align with your clarity instead of your chaos, where relationships require your composure instead of your reactions, where environments recognize your value before you even speak. And the people who once doubted you, they will witness this shift before the rest of the world does. They will feel it before they understand it. They will notice the elevation before you fully step into it. This is why your calm is disrupting them. They can sense that your breakthrough won't be loud, but it will be undeniable. Your life is reorganizing itself around the person you've become, not the person they knew. And people don't get to keep access to a version of you that no longer exists. Now here's where things get interesting. Because the moment people realize they no longer have access to your old emotional wiring, they start panicking in ways even they don't understand. They don't just get confused, they get disoriented. They don't just get uncomfortable, they get internally unstable. Because they relied on a version of you that engaged emotionally whenever they demanded it. A version that reacted instantly, tried to fix everything, tried to soothe everyone, tried to take the blame just to keep the peace. And now you don't respond on command. Now you don't flinch at their tone. Now you don't swallow your words to make them comfortable. You don't fold, you don't shrink, you don't panic. Your lack of reaction creates a vacuum, and that vacuum forces them to face the consequences of their own behavior. When someone who expects chaos meets someone who refuses to supply it, there is a psychological collapse that happens silently, and it's happening all around you. Some people are watching your calm and experiencing an identity crisis they didn't plan for. They start thinking, why am I the only one stressed? Why am I the only one spiraling? Why does their peace make me feel exposed? And they won't say it out loud, because saying it would require admitting you've surpassed them in maturity. So instead they mask their confusion with passive comments, awkward body language, unnecessary sarcasm, and sudden over-explaining. They try anything to get you to show a hint of the old version of you. The reactive one, the panicking one, the overly empathetic one. But that person is gone. They keep fishing for chaos and coming up with nothing but calm waters. You know why that scares them? Because calm waters show the reflection clearly, and they don't like what they see in themselves. Your newfound stillness reveals every jitter in their personality. Your quiet reveals the volume of their insecurity. Your steadiness reveals how fragile their emotional architecture really is. Your detachment from drama reveals how deeply they depended on it for identity. People don't want to confront that your composure is not luck. It's discipline, it's repetition, it's self-study, it's outgrowing habits they cling to like lifelines. It's having leveled up through experiences that would have broken them in half. And that's exactly why they whisper the same question under their breath whenever you walk into a room. How are they this calm? Not why, how. As in, what process did you use? What emotional trick did you master? What mindset did you adopt? Who is teaching you? Where did you learn this? How did you not lose your composure like every normal person would? They're not complimenting you, they're confused by you. Because your calm violates their expectations of human behavior. You're supposed to lose your composure at least a little. You're supposed to show tension. You're supposed to show the cracks. You're supposed to give them something to analyze. But your restraint is too consistent, too intentional, too steady. It undermines their assumptions and rewrites the psychological dynamic they thought they controlled. And here's the truth they're afraid to admit. You didn't become calm because life got easier. You became calm because you stopped giving chaos your energy. You stopped investing in emotionally bankrupt situations. You stopped prioritizing people who turned your peace into currency. You stopped reacting to people who only showed up to drain you. And this level of internal reprogramming scares people who prefer emotional shortcuts. People talk about wanting peace, but they don't talk about what it costs. Peace costs boundaries. Peace costs solitude. Peace costs letting go of the need to be understood by those who lack understanding themselves. Peace costs no longer entertaining conversations that insult your intelligence. Peace costs not reacting when someone tries to destabilize you. Peace costs walking away when someone tries to keep you stuck in cycles you've already outgrown. And you paid those prices quietly, silently, privately. While everyone else was focused on your external circumstances, you were recalibrating internally. Now your energy reflects the reality you built, not the chaos they assumed would consume you. That's why your calm feels like a threat. Because they watched you go through stress, betrayal, disappointment, heartbreak, uncertainty, confusion, and they expected all of it to stain you, but you metabolized it instead. You processed every experience, you alchemized every lesson, you transformed the emotional debris into structure. They thought the weight would crush you. They didn't consider the fact that you were learning how to lift. So now, when they see you walking with that kind of quiet confidence, that unshakable stillness, that clinical level of self-awareness, your energy contradicts their predictions. Their narrative collapses, and collapsing narratives always produce panic. Think about the people who once tried to dominate you emotionally, the ones who depended on your softness to cushion their blow-ups, the ones who relied on your reactions to validate their feelings, the ones who used your empathy as a way to avoid accountability. Those people are now confused about where exactly they lost access to you. They replay conversations, trying to locate the moment you slipped out of their psychological grip. They think it was a big event. They think it was a fight, an ending, a message, a boundary. But the truth is far simpler. You outgrew them quietly, and they didn't notice until your calm forced them to. What they thought was your silence was actually your upgrade. What they thought was your distance was actually your elevation. What they thought was you avoiding conflict was actually you avoiding cycles. What they thought was you being cold was actually you being done. This is why they misinterpret everything now. You say less. They assume you're hiding something. You speak clearly. They assume you're angry. You don't react. They assume you're plotting. You walk away. They assume you're punishing them. Your calm magnifies their paranoia. And here's where the dark humor starts to creep in, because you can see it happening in real time. You can see how people who once behaved recklessly around you are suddenly hyper-aware of their tone. You can see how people who dismissed you now watch your face, like they're studying seismic readings. You can see how people who tried to destabilize you now seem destabilized by the fact that you don't even blink when they expect you to flinch. It's wild how the very same people who pushed you into emotional corners are now afraid of your ability to stand right in the center of the room without trembling. They don't know what to do with a version of you that doesn't break on command. So they start constructing explanations that make them feel safer. Maybe they're pretending. Maybe they're hiding how they feel. Maybe they're numb. Maybe they don't care anymore. Maybe they're avoiding the truth. But the truth they're avoiding is simple. You're calm because you understand what matters. You're calm because you're no longer attached to outcomes you can't control. You're calm because you're done entertaining emotional circus acts. You're calm because your standards are higher now. You're calm because nothing external determines your internal regulation anymore. And ironically, your calm is doing exactly what their chaos used to do: command attention. Except your calm doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't demand, it asserts. It doesn't dominate through force, it dominates through clarity. That unnerves them far more than any meltdown ever could. This evolution did something else too. It turned you into a mirror, a painfully clear mirror. And when people see themselves through a regulated mind, the truth hits different. They see their own impulsiveness, they see their own insecurity, they see their own emotional laziness, they see their own lack of discipline. And instead of accepting accountability, they try to make your calm the problem. They say, "You've changed," as if change wasn't the entire point. They say, "You're distant," as if closeness should be granted without qualification. They say, "You're acting different," as if repeating the past is a virtue. They say, "You're so removed," as if evolving requires approval. You didn't become distant, you became precise. You didn't become cold, you became selective. You didn't become detached, you became self-respecting. You didn't become emotionless, you became emotionally sovereign. And now, your sovereignty reads like rebellion to people who benefited from your submission. But here's the part that sends them over the edge. They can't even accuse you of anything. You're not rude, you're not hostile, you're not dismissive, you're not dramatic, you're simply calm. And calm people are the hardest to villainize. So they start losing their composure while analyzing yours. They start unraveling while pretending they're fine. They start reacting before anything has even happened. They start spiraling because your lack of spiraling contradicts their sense of normal. And there is something darkly hilarious about watching someone panic over the fact that you're not panicking. They ask, "Why aren't you losing your control?" But what they really mean is, "Why am I losing mine while you're not?" This is where the shift becomes undeniable. Your calm is not just a shield, it's a spotlight. Your peace is not just protection, it's revelation. Your steadiness is not just growth, it's exposure. They thought they wanted a composed version of you until they met it. Now they don't know how to function around it. And the closer you get to your elevation, the more their anxiety spikes. Because they can feel something rising behind your calm, something forming, something aligning, something dangerous, not in a destructive way, but in a transformative, unshakable way. Your life is about to reflect your internal discipline, and the people who misjudged you will witness every stage of it. That's their consequence. Not revenge, not bitterness, not payback. Just the reality of watching someone they underestimated become the most composed person in every room they enter. And here's the part you'll carry into your next season. You don't owe anyone an explanation for outgrowing who you used to be. You don't owe anyone access to the new version of you. You don't owe anyone a reaction just because they're desperate for one. Your calm is your boundary. Your composure is your language. Your evolution is your closure. People are confused because they expected you to crumble. People are unhinged because your stability makes their chaos look ridiculous. People are losing it because you didn't. And now, for the mic drop you chose. The dark humor, the savage calm, the one that highlights the truth they refuse to admit. They didn't lose sleep because you fell apart. They lost sleep because you didn't. And the funniest part, you weren't even trying to break them. You were just busy minding your peace while they accidentally broke themselves.